Appreciate you guys being here. Obviously, I'm still happy about the win from Saturday. I thought it showed lots of improvement in a lot of areas. Got a lot of guys to play. I think one of my main takeaways with the team is, it's hard to get shutouts because, if you're a decent human as a head coach, you want to put the 2s and the 3s in and 4s, and the guys who've worked hard. And so sometimes those guys go in there and they're just not quite as prepared. And I was really, really pleased with the level of play from our second, third, and fourth team players. Those guys made plays. Those guys knew what to do, saved 1 or 2 plays. We executed at a high level, and the standard didn't drop, which hopefully gives those guys confidence that, they continue to play. I thought, one thing about Akron, they did not give up. They did not acquiesce the game. They didn't take their starters out. They played their guys to get better for their season in the MAC, and so our guys had a chance to play against starting caliber players, and so got a chance to see a lot of our players on offense, defense, and special teams get on tape. So happy that they were able to maintain the shutout, continue to score on offense, and you saw flashes of some of the players that we've been talking about. So turn our attention now to Houston Christian. 1-1, excellent defense. Ranked in, they've only allowed 1 third-down conversion the entire year. Ranked in the top 5 in several defensive categories, and obviously be a real challenge for us. They ran for 400-some yards the first game, and they just fumbled, had a couple of key fumbles last week. I think they had lost 4. Otherwise, they might have come out on top against Eastern Kentucky, which is a perennial FCS power. So I look forward to a great week of practice, and we'll see what questions you have.
How much do you know about them just from film, and how much does a team like that change from year to year, especially as they're sort of progressing as a program?
Yeah, we have a relationship with the guys at Houston Christian. We went down and ran a camp there, and obviously Coach Bechtel had come in as the OC, and now he is the head coach. Defensive staff all came over from Hardin-Simmons, which if Division III football in the state of Texas, no one does it better than those programs, and so they know how to coach football, and so they've got excellent players. They've got some guys, FBS Power 5 guys who've transferred back, really, really active on defense. They're going to challenge you with different looks. They're not going to come out there and just let you line up. You're going to have to get in the right play because they show you different pictures. Offensively, I like what they do. They can both run the football, and they have athletes on the outside. They have an excellent offensive line. Coach Bechtel was at Argyle when Riley Van Poppel was there. So they have that correct, Susan? Yeah, Susan knows everybody. So there's a lot of ties and history here, but I think they're doing an excellent job. When you're FCS in the state of Texas, there's a lot of high school football players, and then there's a lot of guys who maybe go off somewhere and want to transfer back, and they have good facilities. It's a great university, and so they're doing a nice job there.
There were a couple times Saturday where Turner Corcoran got in as an extra lineman on some of those jumbo packages. Just what did you like about Turner to get him those opportunities?
Yeah, I mean he played at left tackle, and then we wanted to try to use some jumbo 12, a big tight end in there along with Luke, so that we could try to take advantage of the edge, try to run some of our duo plays, and we had some other plays we didn't get to. But I think that's one of the benefits of Turner. He's so smart. He can be ready to play left tackle and play tight end and have it not affect him. So he's a prime candidate for that. We have a couple other guys who I know could do it, but as Turner's working back into getting healthy, it just seemed like a perfect fit for him.
Coach, how pleased are you with this your punt return game? You lead the Big Ten right now in attempted punt returns, and just what you've been able to get out of that over 2 weeks.
Yeah, the first week we weren't super happy just because, we didn't do a great job stopping their Cincinnati's gunners. And so they got down there. So, Jacory got hurt on the one, right? And so now I thought Jacory did a nice job of making guys miss. And that was one of the missed opportunities. We had one play where, we had a missed assignment. And, we teach the guys if you get beat to cut bait. And Jacory made the guys miss. Might have had an explosive one in the first game, but we just didn't quite execute it. So going back to this game, we knew, I instructed the offensive line, the defense, the offensive line and the defense, hey, when we have a punt return, you all should stand up, because we had a plan to, double the gunners and force big returns. They had 3 offensive linemen out there and a punter who wasn't super, runner, so we weren't really afraid of the fake. So now you can go to doubling the gunners. The minute you do that, you lighten the box. There's a chance of someone faking it. And we felt like we were going to have some opportunities, and we just have a special guy back there in Ja'Cory. And we have, there's a I don't know what you guys have been covering. Has anybody posted the one punt return? Has anybody posted the one punt return where they literally take both outside guys and drive them off the field, into the I guess it'd be the south end zone. Like we literally both guys backed up. The guys do such a nice job. And Derek Branch, he served as captain last week. He ran a guy at Cincinnati off the field on punt return, and then continued to do a great job again this week. Kamir Prescott, Rex Guthrie. We got a bunch of guys out there that are really competing and playing hard. So I think anytime you can neutralize their outside people getting down the field, you have a chance at big returns. And so it was good to see. With that being said, we'll have to continue to improve. But it was good to have those yards, and especially when we told them ahead of time, hey, you're going to have chances on this. Be ready, and the guys were ready. I'm really happy with the way they executed.
Going back to blocking, Heinrich Harbert had a big block on EJ's first touchdown run. Have you just seen him get more confident with that part of the tight end stuff now that he's getting those in-game reps?
Yeah, I mean everything for Heinrich's new, and he's working really, really hard at it. And really a challenge. Even in the pregame, I think I said something to him like, hey, that first time you get that slice block, that's a hard block. You got to run across the line of scrimmage. A lot of people cut that. We don't teach to cut it. We stay high, and so that's a hard block to make, right? You got, Waneri or Lenhart or someone like that on the other side trying to run through your face, and I thought he did an excellent job. Took one more step, same foot, same shoulder, dominant contact, tremendous effort, ran his feet afterwards. So I thought Heinrich really made a huge step for himself, not just that play, but the whole week, and should really be building confidence in his new role.
I know that you guys really value Luke Lindenmeyer from pretty much the time you got here. It does feel like as a pass catcher, it kind of took off when Holgerson got here. How have you seen Luke develop as a threat in the passing game in the last 5 games?
Yeah, I mean, Luke. Well, I mean, he's gonna. I think the number one thing is he's always gonna be where he's supposed to be, and a lot of things we do are not just like you run this route, but like, he made the one-handed catch early on in that game, and that's one where, like, you run 5 yards, you sit it down, you hook in. If you get matched, you break out, and you have a quarterback in Dylan who he sees the defense. Like a lot of people just see the offense, he sees the defense. So the minute he sees a guy match, he's expecting the guy to break out. And so we've had times in the first couple of years. That's a play. That's not a Holgerson play. It's not a Sat play. That's a day one play. You know what I'm saying? And so there's been times where he's expecting the guy to break out and he's not. And then it's just hard to play quarterback that way if you play with anticipation. So Luke's somebody who's always going to do those things. He's got great body control. He catches the ball. I think the one thing I want to make sure I say, and I'm saying this for the players, but sometimes, like whether it's Emmett or Luke, we characterize it as like once they got their chance. But some guys have to get better. Like over the course of time, they get better in our make plays. And so to me, Luke is an example of someone who has continued to also improve. Now, you are correct. He had to get those opportunities. And I think, one thing about Dana, because he so values, he always talks about routine plays and guys who can execute the plays. That guys who do that at a really high level, they get the first nod, and then as they get an opportunity, they start to make a ton of plays. And so I'm really pleased with Luke. But Luke's done a great job also. Of like we got here, he had some concussions. He was kind of, is he a fullback? Is he this? And I think he's just done such a good job of developing his body, developing his neck strength, cutting down his body fat, and I think a lot of his personal discipline in his life, whether it be his faith or obviously his relationship, translates over into the things that you eat, the things that you drink, the amount you sleep, and that then leads to your body getting faster, trimmer. And so he's, to me, a guy that's building his speed. He's just getting better and better and better and better. And so I think the same thing about Emmett. I always make sure when I go back, if what did I not see? What did I see? Like, I think I said earlier, hey, he had a tremendous camp. I come out of camp, because you could see Emmett starting to really become a downhill one-cut runner as opposed to everything being like a drastic cutback, which, that works against some people, but some people it doesn't. So his runs, I love them because they were inside zones where he got into the line of scrimmage, he pressed it, he kept the ball front side, he cut back late, and then he just trusted his speed. One time to the left sideline, one time right down the middle of the field. And even though they eventually got him down, you get more yards as opposed to jump cutting it, 10 yards down the field. So I love the way Emmett's developing. I love the way Luke's developing. I think a big part of that's the way they develop their bodies, though. too. And our guys sometimes it's they got Kristen on them, about, hey, you're 2 pounds under your body weight, and it's like, why? Well, the proof's in the pudding. Like it helps you play better as you get older. So really pleased with Luke, though. Really pleased.
After reviewing the film, just what did you think of the way the offensive line played in opening up gaps in the run game?
I thought they did. I thought we should have had more yards rushing. We ran duo once or twice and got the ball at the front side and got tackled by the safety. That's when we should make the guy miss. I thought the offensive line played really well.
You guys in Punt for the first time in 25 years. How does that feel as a coaching staff to know that your Archie is not on the field?
I got some emails about angry people that we didn't punt on the last play of the game. So, that's what I love about Archie, though. Even his family was in the facility, I think on Thursday or Friday. And they were like, hopefully we don't see him play. Now they saw him in Kansas City. They're here for several weeks. But, Archie's a football player. He played footy, so he's competitive. He wants to do different things besides just punt. He wants to, hey, give me a fake, coach. He's a baller. And he's a team guy. So, but I don't. Again, I don't get too high about the highs. Like that was a game that got away from Akron. We certainly didn't want to in any way embarrass them, and I thought they continued to play hard. So whether it's 34-0 or 68-0, at the end of the day, I just was happy to get the young guys in. But we'll have to get better moving forward. We'll face some different opponents.
What is the next step for this team, especially knowing that this is the last non-conference game before the league play kicks in?
Yeah, just having a great today. Today's their off day, but even though they have to come over, they have to eat meals. Watching the tape, we'll know a lot about our team tomorrow if they show up and if they know everything about the guy they're playing against, if they know the base fronts, if they know the top runs. The reason why we have a process, and process isn't the schedule, but the reason why we have a process we believe in is so that there's standards that keep you locked in. If you're not matching the standard, then there's warning signs. As I said last week, I thought we lost the Illinois game starting the week before, just in terms of that's what we were supposed to do at halftime. Last game we were supposed to win by that much. What I was pleased at, I went after them at halftime. I freaking lost it in the locker room. I was pissed that that we let them drive the ball down right before the half and almost make a field goal. Like, where's the killer instinct, right? That's my that's why I bring up the thing about Archie. Like, I don't want to be a joke. I don't want us to be I want us to be a football place, right? Football teams, you put away the people you're supposed to put away. You don't let them have life. So I wasn't happy before the half, right? And then, when we went to take a knee and they cut us, which I have no issue with what they did. That's something you do at the end of games. They just, their kids are trained to do that. I went after our O-line. Like, they don't fear you. Like teams are supposed to come in and they're supposed to say, like, I never want to. They're supposed to walk up to their AD and be like, don't schedule them again. That's the mentality we're supposed to have, and that's where I went off in the locker room, the coaches and players. And it's not that I have it and they don't. I just want to make sure that's my job, right? It's not Matt Rhule. It's the head coach at Nebraska. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to. Well, you play these teams. They want to come here. They want to play here. They're supposed to never want to play here again. And so that was what I was pleased about in the second half, that I thought we didn't let up. We went down and we scored again. Like, I wanted to take the ones out, and like Dana wanted to keep the ones in, and the ones all wanted to stay in. So we let them have another drive. They went down and scored again. So, and the defense continued to play, good football. So, that we're facing a good football team this week. Just because a team's in the FCS or just because a team's in a Group 4 does not mean they're not a good football team, right? Like, when I was at Temple, I would always say, like, I'd rather play a team from Group of 4, Group of 5 at the time, whatever it is called now, that doesn't win than play Villanova. I hated playing Villanova because every kid at Villanova is a winner because they win all the time. So teams that win know how to win. Teams that don't win, bad teams do bad things. And so, I want us to be a good team this week, and it starts with how we act this week in practice. It started last night. I was very pleased with our day yesterday, our attention to detail, showing up, being locked in, taking responsibility for the things that were good, taking responsibility for the things that have to improve. And so that's our plan.
Do you change anything with 11 a.m. this week, just with your weekly preparation, knowing you've played 8 o'clock, 6:30, now you're going to go at 11, and obviously energy can be hard to come by that early just to kind of get your guys.
Not our fans. Our fans are going to show up at Legacy Walk. They're going to be like they were last week, and they're going to show up to the game, and they're going to be amazing. Because I mean, I'm just telling you, man. Like I sat there with the recruits, and I was like, all right, listen, you're gonna go, where'd you go last week? I went to here. I went to here in the okay. Look up there at the student section. Was it like that an hour before the game? Like look at it. Look at it. At the end of the game, I'm like looking at people. I'm like, look how many people are still here at the game. It's just unreal. So I bet you we'll be pretty good. That being said, 11 o'clock for us. Now we practice in the mornings. You know, I took a chance at Cincinnati. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure it was the right move by me. I practiced that night that week, and that can kind of wear you out. So last week, the guys were kind of like still kind of, man, what's the schedule? We got into our schedule, and we made one change at the end of our week. Kristen Coggin has been suggesting this for 2 years to come in later on Fridays, and we did it. And the guys were unbelievably fresh, you know. And so I said, Kristen, I trust Kristen with my life. That's how good she is. And she said, I'm telling you, it'll help us. And so we made that global change. But that won't affect practice. So I think for us, like, you know, the guys are in the building on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at like, I mean, I come walking in down like by the weight room at like 5:45, 6 o'clock, and there's guys walking in. Hey, what's up, coach? So, I mean, we're kind of an early morning organization. So the early morning games for us are hopefully something that we should be locked in for. But I think the one thing we'll see this week is like, I mean, literally, and I don't know this all the time, but talking to Corey, how many guys don't understand like the schedule because they're so new. There's however many new players, and so like Gabe Moore, he's on the trip, and Corey was saying, you know, Will Waneri is telling him like, no, make sure you don't go upstairs now. We're going to do this next, and so it's just travel and first time at the home, first time away. There's a lot to it. So this week I think they'll be a little more settled. It's like, okay, this is what we do. I understand the schedule now. We walk through it in preseason, but until you actually do it, you know, it's hard. But I don't change anything else other than just trusting that the morning preparation will be good for us. And I think, like I said, I think our student section, our fans, a lot of places in the country, you don't get that at 11 o'clock in the morning, but I think we will.